Hello to other esteemed viewers of Jonathan George Villarreal's watch Emporium. I'm Jonathan George Villarreal, and absolutely thrilled to share with you how we can expand our understanding of the world through the English language. Our videos encompass a diverse range of topics such as literature, philosophy, history, astronomy, biology, and more, offering a comprehensive and enriching learning experience. Whether you're new to our channel or a seasoned learner, our carefully curated videos are designed to captivate and enlighten, empowering you to elevate your language skills. Today, let's dive into a grave health concern, rabies. This downright nasty disease is caused by a bacillus virus that wreaks absolute havoc on the brain, not only in us humans but also in our furry friends. Now, the initial signs of rabies can sneak in with a fever and a bothersome itch at the side, but buckle up time because things can quickly spiral out of control. Get ready for aggressive behavior, uncontrollable excitement, hydrophobia, fear of water, paralysis, confusion, and a terrifying loss of consciousness. It's like a horror movie unfolding within your very own body. And let me tell you, once those symptoms rear their ugly heads, the outcome is almost always fatal. It's a true nightmare, my friends. Now, let's plunge into the incubation period. This is the time it takes for that wicked virus to play its sinister game. From the moment of infection to when the symptoms come crashing in, typically it takes about 1 to 3 months for the virus to take center stage. But here's the catch: it can vary from less than a week to over a year. It all depends on how far that sneaky virus needs to travel to infiltrate your central nervous systems. Rabies isn't some new kid on the block. Oh no, we know about its existence for thousands of years, as the ancient records reveal attempts to thwart those dreaded dog bites. Picture this: back in 1768, a rabies outbreak struck Boston, and like wildfire, it spread throughout North America. Can you imagine the sheer terror people experience? Let's fast forward to the 19th century where things get much interesting. In those times, folks actually believed in the mystical powers of the key of Saint Hubert to keep rabies at bay. So they resorted to some rather peculiar practices, such as marking dogs with that key symbol. Thankfully, in 1885, the hero Louis Pasteur stepped in with his nerve tissue vaccine, which helped tame the seriously nasty side effects. Let's embark on a thrilling exploration of the infamous rabies, a rival nightmare that sends chills down your spine. This kind of virus, this with its coil-shaped and deceitful RNA genes infiltrates the body, engaging a lethal tangle with cell membranes, swiftly replicating and spreading like wildfire. Once this wicked rabies virus breaches the fortress, it unleashes a ferocious assault on nerve cells, embarking on a tumultuous journey through the central nervous system, duplicating its diabolical self and stealthily infiltrating the very core of our brains. But hold on tight, it doesn't stop there, my friends. This Rabies virus extends its reign of terror, storming the peripheral nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, and even the salivary glands on a ruthless quest to infect its hapless next victim. Talk about the viral rampage. Now, let's shine a spotlight on the culprits behind this madness. The rabies virus is its notorious partner in crime, the Australian bat lyssavirus. These are troublemakers are transmitted through bites and scratches. And they don't stop them at powers. Oh no, they hit you right on the saliva express. Dogs, those adorable fluffy pals we cherish, often take the center stage as the primary source of infection, particularly in countries plagued by rabies. Meanwhile, bats lead the pack in Americans, with the bats being the chief culprit when it comes to infecting us humans. But threatened transmission through nibbling is an oddity, and the disease only reveals itself when those ominous symptoms come knocking at the door. Now let's dive into the waiting game. Rabies love playing hide and seek, lurking in the shadows, with the incubation period that ranges from a mere 1 to 3 months, all the way to an astonishing 6 years. It all begins innocently enough with a sprinkle of fever or a spin job, headache, because this malicious virus is just warming up. As time ticks away, the disease takes a darker form, unleashing inflammation in the brain, meningitis, and a spiraling array of symptoms: paralysis, anxiety, peculiar behavior, hallucinations, and delirium. Join the eerie party, transforming it into a born-chilling real-life horror show. Death often arrives within a paltry 2 to 10 days after dueling symptoms make their grand entrance. And now let's cast the spotlight on the common symptoms that make your skin crawl: hydrophobia. This unsettling phenomenon emerges in the advanced stages of rabies, where patients find themselves incapable of swallowing and drinking water due to an overwhelming fear. Salivation goes into overdrive, and any attempt to quench their thirst becomes a torturous ordeal. The virus slightly multiplying and gathering its forces in the salivary glands is the culprit behind the spine-chilling symptoms. It's like a scene ripped straight out of a hair-raising horror flick. The furious form of rabies often joins forces with hydrophobia, while the paralytic form seldom summons this spine-tingling dread. Rabies is the disease that can be transmitted to all warm-blooded species, including humans. The rabies virus only develops within the bodies of vertebrate animals, both warm-blooded and cold-blooded. Many animal species can become infected with the virus and transmit the disease to humans, such as bears, monkeys, foxes, skunks, cows, wolves, and many others. However, rabbits and small rodents like squirrels, charming mice, gerbils, hamsters, field mice rarely contract rabies and do not transmit it to humans. The risk of contracting rabies through contact with an infected person or with non-infected tissues and fluids is very low. However, the virus can be transmitted through sexual intercourse via semen or vaginal fluid. To diagnose rabies, fluorescence antibody tests or RT-PCR tests can be used. Samples from the heart, such as brain tissue, saliva, urine, and cerebrospinal fluid, can be used to identify the rabies virus. Diagnosis requires ruling out other causes of encephalitis and considering epidemiological factors to determine the exact causes of disease. Rabies, a truly fatal disease, heartbreakingly snatched the lives of a staggering 17,400 individuals worldwide in 2015, primarily in Asia and Africa, with an unfathomable 40% comprising innocent children under the tender age of 15. This insidious affliction has stealthily infiltrated over 150 countries, encompassing a mind-boggling population of over 3 billion people. Astonishingly, certain nations, including Australia, Japan, and Western Europe, has managed to successfully fortify their defenses against the ruthless grip of canine rabies. Aptly dubbed as a woefully neglected tropical disease, rabies has earned its sinister notoriety. Regrettably, India bears the brunt of the highest incidence of human rabies cases, a grim reality predominantly attributed to the surplus of stray dogs and prevailing legislation that forbids their euthanasia. On a glimmer of hope, the United States has valiantly triumphed in eliminating canine rabies, albeit sporadic instances of infection. that occasionally surface, often transmitted by other wildfire species. Astoundingly, Mexico and Australia have chosen not to formally register any cases of rabies, seemingly untouched by the clutches of this harrowing malady. In Europe, the occurrence of reported rabies cases is exceedingly rare, if not altogether absent each year. However, Switzerland and Italy have admirably managed to exert their control over rabies within their animal populations. Throughout the United Kingdom, rabies has remained conspicuously absent throughout the entire span of the 20th century, with only a scant few isolated incidents involving bats. Conversely, Vietnam carries with an annual total of 70 to 110 human rabies cases and fatalities, with dog standards of remarkable primary sources of infection. This this disheartening reality is further compounded by a myriad of challenges in comparison to the woefully inadequate coverage of rabies vaccinations for dogs and pervasive lack of public awareness and the frustratingly limited accessibility to vaccines. In order to effectively combat this relentless adversary, it becomes absolutely imperative to elevate public knowledge, establish widespread availability of vaccines, and bolster the surveillance systems in place to properly detect and respond to rabies outbreaks. To combat rabies effectively, we must administer vaccination to our beloved pets, remain vigilant in their care, and avoid encounter with wild animals, promptly cleansing wounds and seeking immediate medical attention after a bite are crucial. Oral vaccines distributed through enzyme-based have successfully reduced rabies transmission. Their fatality have decreased. That bears remain a concern. Thoroughly cleaning wounds and timely treatment with intended are essential. Only rabies vaccination supplemented with immunoglobulin and recombinant vaccines is vital for optimal protection. So, my dear friends, let this serve as a valuable lesson for all of us. Rabies is no laughing matter. It's a heart pounding saga of viral proportion complete with twists and turns that would make any thoroughly envious. But you know what? The fear of rabies still lingers deep in the hearts and minds of people even today. It's a real-life horror story that has even inspired by chilling movies, gripping books, and other mesmerizing works of art centered around pandemics and The Walking Dead. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, reality can sometimes be more terrifying than fiction. I dearly appreciate your presence in this episode. Your questions, comments, and feedback are incredibly valuable, so please don't hesitate to share them in the comment section below. Remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so you won't miss any very captivating and thought-provoking episodes. By enabling notifications, you can stay updated with our latest content. Please feel free to share our channel with your friends and family who may find our favorite videos beneficial. We are dedicated to providing you with high quality, thoroughly researched, and engaging content that will enhance your English language proficiency and broaden your knowledge. I eagerly anticipate sharing more enlightening and inspiring content with you in the near future.